Are we live?
Yes, sir, we are live.
Okay, very good morning, all the students and all the attendees. I see two number of attendees. Very good morning, and a very warm welcome for this session on SAP training as a part of skill training for CMA intermediate students. So, for the first few minutes, I'm going to speak about skill training and the importance of SAP and why SAP training. And then I will also walk you through about few basic how do I say, where you get the link, what sort of mails you will get, and how to access content, etc. Then I'll be handing it over to our faculty who will take over from now on. Okay. So once again, a warm welcome for this session on SAP FI training. Now, first, let me talk about SAP. You all must be knowing about SAP. SAP is a German company which started more than in 1972 to be precise. And today, most of the industries use SAP as an ERP. Okay, so most of it. When I say most of it, it includes large conglomerates like Reliance, Tata's, Aditya Birla's. And when you come to the government sector, you have ONGC, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, or name Tata Steel, you name it, they are there. It's not just in the large companies, it's also smaller industries and medium scale industries also use SAP big time. So the opportunities in SAP is very high for any person who's well trained in SAP. So that's the reason maybe Institute chose to train as a part of skill training in SAP. Okay, so we are all finance domain students. So of course, SAP Finance is a logical session that would be taken up. Okay, so with this SAP Power User course, you're going to learn about SAP, how to use SAP, and then it starts from the basics. When I say basics, it is like the business processes and what is a business process. From there, we take it up further up to how to use and how to take out reports, etc. That's what our faculty, Mr. Nagaraj, will be doing in the next few days. So hope you understood the importance of SAP and the importance of this program. Uh, Institute has designed this, we along with Institute have designed this course in SAP so that it will be very helpful for each one of you as we proceed further in your corporate lives, so that you are trained in SAP. Now, beyond that, if you also see, you also have a possibility beyond this, maybe this is the first step. You can also go further training and then get yourself certified at SAP. Interestingly, not everybody, whether it is chartered accountants or cost accountants, everybody choose only their domain. They also look for alternate careers. You can also choose SAP consultancy as an alternate career. So that's about SAP. So what I want to now show you is something on how you'll be trained, what are the mails, what are the content, how you look at the content. And as ever, you're most welcome to ask any doubts and questions you have on the chat in the Q&A. I'll be taking a pause every 10 minutes and I'll be answering all your questions. Okay, so here we go. Just 1 second. Let me see how I share my screen. Here I'm sharing my screen. Stop. Okay, so each one of you will, of course, get a mail would have got from mail from SAP for access to SAP Learning Hub, which has content. There are some old students who would have got earlier, and that validity will be for anything for 1 year. Okay, so if you are an old student who have crossed 1 year, your access may not be there, but your energy IDs will be as I'm going to show you now. For the fresh student, this is how the energy ID would be. You will get a link maybe by today, end of the day, your email ID and password. You can set your own password like generate password, and you will log in like this. Okay, so as you log in, you can see here your program will be skill training SAP for CMA intermediate students. Okay, here if you go to learning material. You have the learning material for SAP. So please understand, you would have got a mail directly from SAP that is for SAP learning content. What we are providing in this learning material is the support documentation that is required for you to train yourself in SAP. As you see, this talks about what is SAP and what is the course. And here you see all the support material and the support content. Okay. So now what is the support material, support content? Plus you will also have access to SAP system. So these are the few things that you will get. First, let me walk you through one by one. You click on this, you will see a link opening called SAP Learning Hub. So there you would have got your user ID password. Typically it is known as P user. You'll have to key in that P user and then log in here. Using that P user, you'll have to get your password. So this is something which you will do separately. This is for SAP content. So I'm closing that window right now. Okay. So then you will also have access to live SAP system. Okay. When I say live SAP system, it is a system which is real SAP, which you will really work on. What you saw earlier is where you have the content, the training material. But this is the live SAP system. But for you to access SAP system, there are a few steps that you need to take. Though I'll be introducing it to you right now, you will be walked through once more by our faculty, Mr. Nagaraj. He will walk you through. He will also show how it is done and all that. But I'm just walking you through so that you are prepared over the weekend. By Monday, you have every system in place. Okay. Firstly, you will have to install something called SAP GUI. That is known as Graphic User Interface. Now, what this document will tell you how to install it. Okay, it is a very simple step-by-step walkthrough about how to do it. There are very good screenshots, as you can see. Using this screenshot, you will be able to log into the system and you will be able to download the SAP GUI. So I will also show you where you will download it from. You can see here SAP GUI download. Here you can just click. This will open a particular drive which has these files. Now what you need to do is you need to download it. Now once you download it, you will have to extract. What has to be done is all explained in this document. How it has to be done, it is all explained. We will walk you through once more as we proceed further. But as of now, I'm just telling you how to download this particular file. Okay, next. So this is about SAP GUI. And I say GUI, graphic user interface. From there, you will get three information will be shared with you. Client number, user ID. Typically, your registration number without the zero is the user ID. And initially, there will be a password init123 or whatever. You will know what that password is. You will have to change it first time when you log into the system. So for you to log into the system, you'll have to download this SAP GUI as I just spoke now, as I just showed you. And then after you download, you'll have to extract and follow these steps as in this document. And then just a second, and then you will have to keep the system ready for you to set it for a particular client. Put in your username, user ID, which is your registration number without the initial zero. Then put the password that is given initially. The system will prompt for change the password. You will change the password and proceed further. Clear? Got it? Any questions? You're most welcome to put it in the Q&A. After 2 minutes, I will be looking into the Q&A and responding back to you. Okay. Then after this is about GUI. So let me straight away go and see if there is any question that you have. Okay. Okay. Hello, sir. I cannot return your name. Class is started. We cannot see the screen. I think you got the screen. Okay, as far as Sriram is asked, I have not got the link from SAP to create login credentials. You will get it. As I said, over the weekend, you will get it for SAP system. Is it worth to take these classes because the exams are almost near? While I leave that to you, definitely attending a class where you can ask questions is very important. But however, we understand that these recordings will be available for you for future. Say again how to download. Say it once again, sir. Yes, I will repeat it. Okay. So I go back. Somebody has asked a question. Please repeat how to download. I'll repeat right from the beginning. Initially, you will get a direct mail from SAP. For new students, you will have access for 1 full year. For old students, the access will be there for some time, and you would have already accessed the content. SAP system perspective, for SAP system, you will have to download this SAP GUI. You can see here SAP GUI download. You'll have to click on this. When you click on this file in the Google Drive opens. You will have to download this. Now, what to do after downloading is explained here in SAP GUI installation guide. As you can see it, this is the guide which has screenshots, step-by-step process, how to go ahead to download and extract. Okay, once you download and extract, you will finally get something like this. And this is where, as I was speaking, the client and user ID will be given. Once it is done, this is how your final screen will look like. The one on top is how you where you put in your user ID password in future. And once you put the user ID password, this is the first screen, how it will look like. Okay, so I've explained you how to download and install GUI. Of course, our faculty will show you once more. Next, what are the other things that are available here? One is notes on SAP, very basic notes about what is SAP, how to use it, what is FI, what is ERP. Though these are already spoken and it will be explained as we proceed, we are just given what exactly is this. Okay, as you can see it. Okay, this is about what is some basic notes is given here. We have also given a question bank. So please note there is an MCQ where you will have to clear the MCQ with 50% as the pass mark. We have given some questions. There is also in the assessment, there is also a trial assessment that you can take for 3 to 4 times. There will be only 5-6 questions which you can take it up. Then you can have to appear for the assessment. Okay, so this is some questions and answers that we have given just to give you an idea how the questions will look like in MCQ. Okay, so next comes various notes. Now, what are the notes that are here? One, this is a topic called accounts receivable. You can see here the complete notes on accounts receivable is given here. So this is given one basics plus the screenshots are given with the transaction code that is required to operate in SAP. Now, how will this help you as a student? You can practice these, whatever is being taught in the sessions. They will also walk you through in the SAP system. You can also listen, you can also practice it yourself in this SAP system. Okay. Okay, the one is accounts payable. I'll also show you one more. There's also something called accounts receivable. These are few topics where there are SAP user manual that we have put in the system. Okay, so as you proceed in the sessions and classes, you can go through these notes. These notes will have screenshots which will help you how to use the SAP system. There are also reports. There are also various end user transaction codes. A transaction code is, as you see here, F-02, FB50. For each of the process that you are doing, like for example, single document posting in general ledger, you can type a transaction code. There will be a slot that is given for T code, which our faculty will show you as we go ahead in this session. It is F-02. You will have to type and press enter. The transaction opens. So that's how SAP is designed. So to guide you, we don't expect you to know any of these. So to guide you, there is a bunch of documents that are already given here that will help you. The same thing is also there for reports. These are the various reports. Like vendor line item wise, what are the reports. So once you put this transaction code, whatever data, this is how the data will look like, how the screens will look like. You can practice it so that you get absolute hands-on. So I repeat what I spoke till now. One, you would have got a direct mail from SAP, which is access to Learning Hub. Second is what we are providing on this energy platform. I repeat, I'll go a step back and then I will show you. This is how once you log in, you will see. You will go to learning materials in SAP. Under SAP, you have all these contents. One talks about how to access Learning Hub. The other also talks about, just 1 second. Other talks about various documentation that are required. You also have live SAP system access. That for that you will have to install a SAP GUI. The download file is also given. And once you download, how to create the login is also given here. You will be provided with all the credentials. Okay, so let me see if there are any questions before I proceed further. Will we get another mail regarding SAP? Yes, Krishnendu, that's what I was saying. You will get another mail with the energy credentials. Hello, sir. I'm working. The recordings will be as I can join. Yes, I understand the recordings will be available. Yes, I've got SAP Universal ID mail. Correct. That's good. Screen is not visible. I understand it was visible for others. If anybody else is having any challenges, please do send a message here. So, yes, recorded. Yes. No, the attendance is only counted now. How long will we have access for SAP? See, as of now, SAP GUI will be available for 3 full months. Will we be able to access the practice after? Yes, you will be able to access it. Prapul, I will not be able to answer this question. How long will my user ID be applicable? So for that, you can send a mail to skilltraining@icmi.in and they will be able to respond back. And my SAP mail is expired. Amar Sharma, if your SAP mail is expired, not a problem. You please get live access to the SAP system and practice in SAP system. My first password before or new password sitting. I will not know that. Okay, so Satya has asked a very valid question. This is SAP GUI version HANA. No, it is not HANA. It is SAP ECC. There will be a session that I'll be taking before one of the days for 1 hour, where I will talk about the latest trends in the very latest trends and globally on SAP and ERP. There I'll also be touching upon HANA. I have a 360 that all right. Yeah, it is just the same that SAP 360 and Energy Vidya are one and the same. Energy Vidya is upgraded version. Any problem if I don't attend? Started. We have to create energy ID. Okay, Ravi Sharma ji, you will need not create anything for energy ID. You will get an email with us with the details. See, most of you have asked, will the recordings be available? Yes, our understanding is the backend gets recorded. It gets recorded in the backend, I'm sorry. And it would be made available for the students. Okay, somebody has said I've already got credentials last time. I have no idea what how to watch. So there are recordings. You will have to talk to the institute and they will provide the recordings. Not to see anything. There's a little confusion regarding the training as an Excel 2 link and 3rd May 11 to 1 and 2. Okay, so let me explain. Yes, Abdulka has asked a question. There are 2 links for 3rd May 11 to. Okay, please understand. It's a 4-hour session that you will have. 11 to 1 is 1 2-hour session, and 2 to 4 is another 2-hour session. So the first session is going on right now. And there is a gap for 1 hour where you can finish whatever you work, you have your lunch and get back. It is a continuous session. So total, it will be 60 hours of 4 hours each into 15 days. Watch them when we want. See, it is your choice. It's preferable that you attend live session. We have to install MS Teams. May class may hoga. We have to install SAP. I didn't understand your question. I'm sorry. Okay, my area network is very poor, so please live streaming is blurred. Okay. I will get MCQ. There is no MCQ book, Harsh. We have provided with a question bank which has a sample questions. If there are 2 links for each day, yes, you will have to attend both the classes. It is a continuous sessions. It is not a repeat question. What to do it? Sir, can we? Yes, you can do it on your mobile phone, but please understand the screens will be very small. So that would be a challenge. Okay. So before I go forward, Janvi, is Mr. Nagaraj joining?
Yes.
Okay, good morning,
Sir,
Mr.
I'm there.
Sudhir. Yeah, Nagaraj, you're there?
Yes, sir, I'm there. You're able to.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. So
Oh,
just
perfect.
just 5 minutes. I'll just wrap it up so that I will hand it over to you.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
Most of them have asked the same question. So I repeat, one is the recordings will be available. It is for the institute. Institute will let you know. Energy platform page, how to get. There are some people who are the old students who would have got Energy 360. I will show that screen also for the benefit of the people. Some people said, I have Energy 360. This is what you would have got. This is the Energy 360 platform. You go to SAP. The same documents are available here also. For the fresh students, over the weekend, you will get Energy Vidya. This is the access you get. Okay, and I walked you through everything in terms of what documents are there. You can make use of these documents. And in the meantime, any questions you have, any queries, any doubts you have, one about the session, about the class, you're most welcome to put it in the Q&A session. And else what you can do is you can send an email to skilltraining@icmai.in. See, there are 2 common questions I see. There are 3 things that the 3 common questions that has come out. One, is it mandatory to attend? It is recommended. It is strongly recommended. It is mandatory to attend. Second, will the recordings be available? Yes, the institute will be hosting the recordings. Third, can we watch it on your mobile? Yes, screens will be very small. It will be difficult for you. Okay, so let me again explain how exactly we are going through. There are 2 sessions between 11 to 1 and then 2 to 4. It is a continuous sessions. So in a day, we are taking 4-hour session of SAP. After 4-hour session, we will also, it will go on for 15 working days, Monday to Friday, so that we'll be completing the session by 23rd. You will be provided with energy access. If somebody has not got it, please wait. You check in your spam folder also. You will get it over the weekend and you will be able to access whatever documents I showed you. For some people, SAP IDs would have already reached your mailbox. Most of you have confirmed you have got it. For some people, old students would have got it earlier. If it has expired, don't worry, you can practice it in the live SAP system. Okay, and of course, you have Mr. Nagaraja faculty who will be walking through the content and the system. He will do both. Okay, and some people have said, I have not got energy. You will get for Energy Vidya, you will get it by over the weekend. All students would have already got it in Energy 360. It is one and the same. Okay. When will skill training exam? Okay, that's a good question. Skill training, it is an assessment MCQ. The institute will announce when it is, and we will open out the assessment. You'll have to take the MCQ assessments. Okay. Let me see. There are a lot of questions. I think it's most of them are asked the same. There's a little confusion regarding training. Okay. Again, I repeat the same thing I have explained already. It is that there are 2 sessions. It's a 4-hour session. SAP has the scope. I didn't understand that. Yeah, if your question was, does SAP has career growth path? Yes, absolutely. It's one of the most sought out trainings as of now. Okay, I'll just scroll a bit more. Okay. Okay, so I think most of it are repeat questions. If there are any specific questions that are not answered, you can also write to skilltraining@icmi.in and we will definitely respond back. And how to post attendance. Don't worry, it is taken care of. Is it related to costing? See, SAP has everything in finance, including costing and other things. So it is costing also will be touched upon, but we start from the basics, right from what is a business process onwards it goes on. Any difference between HANA and ECC? Yes, Satya, there is a difference. There is a difference between HANA and ECC. What is the difference? I will be personally taking a session on HANA, so that day you will get to know what it is. Okay, please guide. As the timings of the exams are same, please guide. So I would not be able to comment on the exams because you're talking about CA intermediate exam. But as far as these sessions are concerned, if it is clashing with these sessions, you're most welcome to look into the recordings. Do we have the function in mobile phone easily? I didn't understand the question. If you're talking about attending the session, you can definitely download Microsoft Teams in your mobile. Okay, can I get yes? You will get recorded. I think most of it are same questions which I've answered. Okay. When the exams are going to happen before or after June 24 attempt. So that I will not be able to answer. The institute will give us the dates. We will announce the dates then. Okay. So I think the sessions, the questions are flowing in and out. So it's beautiful. I'm happy to see 1,800 attendees. We hope it increases. Please note it's a very, very important thing. The institute is providing this course. Typically, if you go outside of the market, it'll cost you quite a few thousands, maybe 25, 30,000 only for power user course. So you're getting it sitting at home, the two online. So please make good use of it. And just to introduce Nagaraj, Nagaraj is our faculty, and he's not just a faculty, he's also a consultant himself. Now, the difference is he will teach what not just what is there in the theoretical paper, also the practical aspects of it. How will it help you as a student? So when you really go and face an interview, wherever it is, this will definitely help you in those interviews. Okay, so with that, I just hand it over to Nagraj. I'll be logging out. So Nagraj, can you take over?
Thank you so much, sir.
So I just need to leave, or I should not close, correct? I will just leave, correct?
Yes, sir. Do not end the session. Only just leave.
Okay, so thank you very much. All the very best, all the students and attendees and learners, all the very best. Make good use of this session. And any doubts you have, please do send a mail to skilltraining@icmi.in and we'll respond back within 2 working days, or maximum within 1 day itself. Initially, it will be 2 days. Later on, it will be less than a couple of hours. It will be responded. So please do make good use of this training. All the very best. Thank you. Nagraj, you can take over. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. So a very warm welcome to all the attendees. So as Mr. Balaji just spoke to you regarding one interesting question which I came across was the scope of SAP itself. What SAP is all about, and I will also talk to you about what experience I have and what is
Sir,
the yes,
Nagraj,
madam.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Can you please share the screen so that the screen is not left blank?
Sure, madam. I'll do.
Yes.
Madam, you're able to see my Excel sheet. It's blank as of now.
Yes, sir. It's no. Excel sheet is not visible. Can you share the screen? Yeah. Screen is not
I
shown.
have shared. I've actually shared, madam.
Okay, but it's not visible, sir. Try sharing it again. Unshare and share again, sir.
Madam, now I think it should be visible.
Just a moment, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. Not visible yet.
I'll try again, madam.
Yes, sir.
It says stop sharing. Why is it?
Yes, sir. But screen is not seen till now.
Okay, I will stop sharing again and reshare it, madam. Just one
Okay.
second. Madam, now it's a blank Excel sheet, which
No,
I'm.
sir. Still, it is not visible. Sir, can you do one thing? Can you switch on your camera for 2 minutes? Because maybe because your camera is not on, it is not showing.
Sure, madam. I'll do that.
Yes.
Shall I share it again, madam, or?
Yes, sir. Please share. First, share your video, your camera, and then you can share the screens.
Sure, madam. I'll just try that again. Now, madam.
No, sir. Your status is, it's showing that your status is set to do not disturb.
Oh, do not disturb. How do I? Where is that do not disturb?
That is what at the top change settings. That is the issue where I'm facing.
Okay.
So your camera you have switched it on?
Yes, madam. I'm able to see myself.
Yeah, because it's still not visible.
Oh, my camera is on, madam.
Camera is on, but still screen sharing is not visible, sir.
I will stop sharing and then do it again. Just
Yes,
hold on.
yes, please do.
I will share another PowerPoint. This one, madam. Let me see if that
Yes.
is working at least.
Yes, sir, please.
There is another screen out here. You're able to see that?
No, sir, not visible.
It says it is just showing my desktop.
Yes, sir, but
And I
screen
have.
is not visible. Maybe we are logging it with the same account.
Oh, okay, okay. Could that be an issue?
Yes, sir. But if we leave now, the session will end. That is the issue.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sir, can you do one thing, sir? Can you share that PPT to me so that I can try sharing the screen?
I'll do that, madam.
Yes.
I'll do that.
Yes.
So what I'll try to do is I will send you. Shall I send you by mail, madam, this Excel sheet?
By WhatsApp also will do, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Students, just hold on.
Yes. Then
Students,
I'll share the screen, then you can explain, sir. That will be better.
I'll do that right away, madam.
Yes. Sir, have you shared the screen? That Excel sheet, sir? Sir?
Madam, just a minute,
Yeah.
madam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Students, please wait. Students, please wait for a few minutes. We are sharing the screen shortly.
Madam, I have just shared it with you.
On WhatsApp, sir?
Yes, madam. Yeah.
Just a moment, sir. Let me check. So on WhatsApp, I didn't get it, sir.
Just hold on, madam. I've sent it across.
Didn't receive it till now, sir.
Now, madam.
No, yes, sir. Now I got it. Just a moment.
Yeah.
Let's just download it.
But madam, how do I type in the details?
Instead of, sir, you tell me, I'll type it out.
Okay. Okay, I'll do one thing, madam. I
Yes.
think till the afternoon session, I'll just keep. What should I do? I'll just keep talking.
So you can either. Sir, you can do one thing, sir. You can explain about SP and those things that PPT if
Sure.
you can share. Then
Sure.
I'll share that. Yes,
Sure.
it would be better.
Madam, there'll
Then
be
in the afternoon you can continue. Yes.
Yes, madam. There'll be a sheet CMA4 or something. You can open
Just
any one of the sheets, madam. Yeah.
CMA4, na?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Or even CMA6 is blank because I wanted to start something today.
Okay. So CMA4 I've opened. Just a moment. I'll share that screen.
Sure,
Yes.
madam. And students, just to make the session a little more lively.
Sir, is this screen visible now?
Yes, madam. I can see ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, Managers, Reports Planning. This is more than enough, madam. So I'll be doing most of the talking today.
Okay.
And once the technical thing is resolved, we will take it forward, madam.
Yes, sir. Sure.
So here, what I wanted to tell you about is, see, you're seeing something called as ERP. Down below, you're seeing something called as SAP. So there was one very interesting question when Mr. Balaji asked that question or read out that question in the Q&A part of the screen. What is the scope of SAP? Till now, let us assume that we have not spoken anything about SAP. We have not done that, of course. But even before we talk about SAP, what does it help us with? So what I mean to say is, if you hear about SAP, it is nothing but an ERP. So what is an ERP? I'll take you through all this. I'll be showing you some slides which I have prepared. But of course, these slides will not be shared because I have prepared it for my own personal purposes. So this is just, I have created these slides just to bring in more clarity into the understanding of the subject. So now we have come across two different terminologies, SAP and ERP. So basically, SAP is an ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. It is a tool. All right. Just like you would have heard about Tally. Okay. So that is the most recent term which I can use to draw a parallel between Tally and SAP. But this is as far as this is just for the example's sake I am talking about. But we are going to discuss as to how SAP has more superior qualities to prove itself as a market leader in the ERP space. Now, what is it that we are going to talk about in the future sessions? What does SAP help us with? We are going to spend almost 3 weeks. So what is it that we are going to understand from the 3 weeks session? So basically we are going to understand how SAP will help us out. So basically we are not talking anything complex about SAP. We are converting our day-to-day business transactions into SAP. That is what it is going to help us with. As simple an explanation as possible. So what is SAP? It is a tool for us to simplify our business activities. Now, what kind of business activities does it help us with? Can I use SAP for any kind of a business? You will be surprised at the answer. The answer is yes. In my experience, which is almost close to 20 years in the field of SAP, where I have done a lot of consulting. So this is also a new term, consulting. So I will explain as to what is consulting and what are the other specific terms you are going to come across when you step into the SAP world. Okay, just make a note of all these terminologies, which I will be talking to you in a greater detail as and when we proceed in the sessions. So now, for you to just know what SAP is all about, it is a tool which is going to help the business enterprises. So my other question was, can I use SAP for any kind of a business? And I also said the answer is yes. You will be surprised that SAP is currently being used starting from a food industry to the chemical industry, to the real estate industry, to the media industry. So the examples could be a number of businesses which SAP caters to. So SAP can be brought into any kind of a business. So this is all what you need to understand. Now, how was it going to suit? So your businesses could be wide ranging. I gave you a lot of examples, right? Food industry, chemical industry, media industry, real estate, telecom. So, and even your public sectors, which is typical to the Indian scenario, the public sectors are also using the SAP software. So such is the usage of this product. So how we are going to use it, to what extent are you going to use it, is up to your business requirements. No doubt, SAP can be made use of for any kind of a business. But if your business is, let us say, I'm into a manufacturing, I'm manufacturing a product X or Y, whatever. Is it going to suit my requirement? So I need to understand where I would want to bring in SAP, because SAP is not a very cheap product. It is a very efficient product, provided you make the complete use of it. Otherwise, your expenditure on bringing in SAP into your organization itself will not be or will not make any sense. So the organization, first and foremost, would have to understand what is its goal, what does it want to achieve by implementing SAP. by bringing in SAP into its organization or bringing in SAP into its business. How am I going to use it? What are the advantages? So probably before SAP, let me assume that a business or I was using some other product. Let me not name the product. I was using something for my financial activities or for various other things. Please also make note that SAP is not only to meet your financial requirements. It is not used only for your financial reporting. It can be used for the whole of your organizational functionalities. Probably, let me explain it. If at all I am into a production activity, I'm producing a product. So what are the various business activities or the functionalities of my business? I need to purchase the raw materials. I need to produce using these raw materials, I need to produce my final product. After the final product is produced, I need to sell the product. So now do you see, I have brought in various departments, but I have not included finance at all. So how do you purchase the raw materials? You need to identify a vendor. Correct? You need to make a payment to the vendor. Once you purchase, you need to make a payment to the vendor. And once you sell your product to the customer, you need to receive money from your customer. So this is how this is typically the example what I said, the flow of the activities, purchasing of raw materials, making a payment for your purchasing, producing the product, your production activities. Your production activities finally gets converted into a final product which you need to sell to your customer. So once you sell the product to the customer should make a payment to you. So now you can see the flow of the activities. So all these activities can be mapped into your SAP. So what do you map into your SAP? How do you map these functionalities of your business into SAP? Now when you purchase a product or when you purchase the raw materials, what is the financial impact or what is a financial entry? See, here you are only procuring the product. You are not still making the payment. The raw materials the vendor is supplying to your organization. There is still no or nothing about making a payment. So how do you record this entry? How do you record the raw materials have come into your organization? It has come into your stores. How do you record this? The recording has to automatically take place. Your inventory has to get updated. Correct? Your inventory account should get a debit. So how are these things happening? So these are all the things which you need to automate in your SAP. So once you have identified your business processes, that is exactly what Mr. Balaji used. He used a term called business processes. So mapping of these business processes. What is this business processes? How exactly the department, let us say a purchase department, how does it work? How does it work? How does a sales department work? Please make note that I'm not even talking about the financial transactions. I'm just talking about the business, the flow of the events when you talk about a specific department. I've just taken the purchase department as an example and the sales department as an example. So this is exactly what is called as business process in your SAP terminology. You will see that in your what Mr. Balaji was talking about, the energy, the course content. Okay, you will see all this about the business processes and how each of the business processes gets linked to your finance department. So purchase, let me talk about purchase. Let me come back to your purchase activity. So you purchase the raw materials from a vendor. So when does the transaction end? The transaction ends only when the vendor supplies the agreed quantity of raw materials. Suppose you have agreed for 100 kgs. Has the vendor supplied all the 100 kgs of raw materials? That is as far as the purchasing is concerned. So how do you close this particular transaction? Only when you have made a payment to all these 100 kgs. Only then you are closing the transaction. You agree with me, right? So the interaction between the opening of a transaction and the closure of a transaction is your business process. See, why is it a business process? Because see this, if I'm following a typical purchase cycle in my organization, there are a series of steps, right? So this series of steps, probably you may have to raise a purchase order. The purchase order has to be approved by your financial authority. Then the vendor starts supplying the items. Then the quality is tested in your organization. Whatever material your vendor has supplied, those materials should undergo the quality test. So I'm just talking about an example of my organization. This is how my purchase cycle will work. But the series of steps what is applicable to my organization may not hold good for the other organization. They may be following different kinds of steps. So what am I trying to tell you? I cannot assume that the same business process is applicable to every other organization. So first and the foremost is when you get into the SAP environment, I mean not at your stage, but having a lot of experience in the SAP field, I would have to understand how the business is flowing. How are the activities connected? How are the activities between the various departments are connected? I need to understand. See, I use the term consultant. All right. Consultant is the person in the SAP parlance or in the SAP terminology. A consultant is a person who advises the solution in SAP to his client. Probably you may not be having a lot of clarity as far as this statement is concerned, but I'm simply trying to expose you people to the different terminologies which we are going to come across in our session. Don't worry, I'm going to repeat this not once, not twice, but n number of times, because I will be using these terms in different meaning. So each time I use a specific name, I use a specific name or whatever, it has a different meaning. All right, but these are the terms which you should be aware of, because tomorrow you're all going to be qualified management accountants, and SAP has also got a lot for management accountants. It is not only for the simple recording of the business transactions. No. If at all somebody is assuming that you are recording only the transactions of the business in SAP, it is wrong. SAP is far, far, far more intelligent than what it is actually. If people are thinking that it is only used for recording the transaction, we are far away from it. Because SAP, as you can see, as we go deeper and deeper, you can see that it is such an intelligent system that most of the things are done automatically. As I said, once when the vendor starts supplying the raw materials to your store, what is the entry that should happen? Forget the credit side. The debit side, what should happen? The inventory should get to debit, inventory account debit to whatever it is, whatever account should get credited. I am simply avoiding the credit because SAP has a different way to treat it. So how is the inventory account getting debited? Because this is happening at the store itself. See how intelligent the system is. You need not have to tell the system to pass this entry. It automatically passes. Your entry is already updated. Once when the voucher is fed into the SAP system, the entry automatically takes place. So this is how you automate your transactions in the SAP system, for which a person called as a consultant is required. So who is a consultant? A consultant is a person who understands the business of my organization. A consultant is nothing but is nobody but an SAP specialist. He also plays a role of a business analyst. In accounting terms, without SAP, he can also be called as a business analyst. Why? He analyzes my business requirements, and because of his expertise in the SAP product, he is in a better position to tell me how I should make use of the SAP system in the best possible way. All right, so the consultant automates the SAP system based on the requirements of the client. The client here is the company for which SAP is being implemented. Simple. SAP is being brought into that company. Suppose I am working for IBM. Let me assume a scenario. I am a consultant. I am working for IBM. Okay. Now there will be a client, Mr. X Limited or Y Limited, who walks into IBM wanting a SAP solution for his business. So I am a consultant working for IBM, and X Limited becomes my client. All right. So this is how So a consultant is an expert in the SAP and as well as a analysis of the business is concerned. So I, as a consultant, analyze the business of X Limited and accordingly provide the solutions in SAP. And is that all what SAP does? Okay, now I enter the transactions. Fine, fantastic. Now, my CFO or my CEO, my head of the company, wants to see some reports. My financial boss, he wants to see a report. Does SAP provide the report? The answer is yes. So now we saw the transactional side and now we are seeing the reporting side. Of course, I'm going to tell you once when we get exposed to the live SAP system, I will tell you the reports. But what I'm trying to tell you is from the reporting angle also, SAP is a wonderful product. Not only from the point of view of the everyday or the routine transactions which is happening within the organization on a day-to-day basis, but also converting all this transaction into reports. Suppose my departmental head wants to analyze what is a purchase, what is the inventory position, what is the stock. Do I get to know in SAP? Obviously, that is exactly why I'm using SAP. So I'm just giving you very small examples. But the major point what I'm trying to drive in is to understand SAP, even before you start appreciating the product, you need to understand the business side. The business is very important. See, a competent consultant understands the business and also is an expert in SAP. So he's a combination. But even before you provide a solution to your client, X Limited, in my case, I'm assuming that I'm a consultant. I work for IBM in the SAP department. All right. I have to provide a solution, let me say for accounts payable, or for accounts receivable, or for say management accounting. So I need to understand what exactly is happening. All right, what exactly the business is performing, how exactly the business is happening at X Limited, and I need to compare as to what is happening in X Limited and what SAP can deliver, how SAP can do a better, how SAP can perform better in what areas, and accordingly provide a competent solution to X Limited. That is exactly what is expected from me. As a competent consultant, I need to provide excellent solutions to my client, whatever his business issues are. All right. Now, what are these business issues? We'll come to it a little later. When we talk about the live SAP, we will talk about it. All right. So basically the understanding, what I'm trying to tell you is whenever you talk about SAP, just try to bring in a business scenario. Just ask a question, how do I do it in my regular business? Because even before SAP came up only by 1971 or something, way in Germany. Even now it is headquartered in Germany, started by 4 to 5 IBM engineers. So even before SAP came up in the market and it grew, we came to hear about SAP only in late 90s, maybe 98, 97 or something. All right, and I came into SAP way back in 2005. Okay, so you can see, so even before SAP came up in the market, there were businesses happening, right? It is not that the businesses came up only after SAP also came up. No, it is not like that. So here what SAP as a company, SAP is a company headquartered in Germany. It was founded in 1972 April, 71 or 72 April. So it is almost 4 to 5 decades. So the business complexities have also grown over a period of time. So each and every day, each and every moment, there is constantly a business scenario which has to be met. It could be from anything. It could be from the costing side, it could be from the purchase side, it could be from the human resources side. Now this is interesting. Why am I bringing human resources? There is also a connect with the HR department. How? Now, when you are hiring people into your organization, one person is a clerk, another person is a officer, another person is a manager. Correct? You don't always recruit only say top level management or mid level management or even low level management people. Correct? It is always a mix. Sometimes you have a requirement for low level management, sometimes for mid level management, sometimes for a senior level management. Now, don't you pay different salaries to each one of them? Obviously, right? So how does SAP understand this? Let me say, in my project, I have junior consultants, I have senior consultants, I have team leaders, I have project managers. Correct? Do all of them get the same salary? No, but they are in the same project. Same SAP project. I am working for the same client, X Limited. I have 20 people working under me for X Limited. So each one of them is getting different salaries. So how do I map them in SAP? A junior consultant is getting X dollars per hour. Senior consultant is getting Y dollars at Y dollars per hour. Project manager is getting Z dollars per hour. Same project. Now do you see the connect between the HR department and your SAP? So slowly you will also be taken into the different modules of SAP. What is a module? The different functionalities in your organization. This is exactly what I said. See, for the same requirement, I have used two different terminologies. What did I use? The organizational functionalities and modules. Modules is a typical SAP terminology. Your organizational functional departments is your typical English language. So it is one and the same. So this is exactly what I said. convert your SAP requirements into your everyday business. Then you will be understanding SAP in a much better way. Else, understanding SAP may take some time. It may sound a little complex, don't worry. Okay, but this is how it works. Understand how business is working. Then come to SAP. This is exactly what we consultants do. We do not complicate things by simply thinking about only this typical terms or jargons which we use in SAP. We always try to simplify things by converting the requirement into your normal business terminologies. And it makes life very, very simple. Nothing complex about understanding, but the only thing is for each and every requirement or for understanding SAP, each and every scenario, business scenario, we convert it into a normal routine business requirement and try to look at it from the SAP side. Things become a lot simpler. So this is how you understand SAP. All right. So it is not. See, all I'm trying to tell you is, do not complicate things. See, and one more thing. Please do not also assume that you will understand SAP in the first shot. If somebody is expecting that SAP could be understood in the first shot, please do not think in the, please change the thinking pattern. It is not as easy as it is thought of. But let us try to make things as simple as possible by not using too many complex terms or whatever it is. But my idea is, whenever I use a term typical to SAP, I will also be using a term equivalent to the SAP term in your normal business. So understanding SAP is far more simple. See, for example, a voucher in your business is also called as a voucher in SAP. There is no special term. All right. So but I can also give you an alternative term in SAP. It is also called as a document. Each and every voucher is called as a document, is also called as a document in SAP. So if somebody is using a term called a document, it is nothing special. It is just a voucher. That's it. It's a voucher, what you understand in your regular accounting terms and whatever you have learned, whatever you have studied. It is nothing but that, nothing else but converting your SAP terms into your normal business terms. That is all. Madam, do I see any questions regarding this?
Just a moment, sir. Let me check. I'm just checking. Just
Sure, sure.
So one question is there.
Yes, ma'am.
In SAP, can we report the whole financial statements for an industry also?
Though I didn't understand this question, I was a little confused with the term industry. But yes, as far as your financial statements are concerned, it could be your trial balance, it could be your general ledger account balance, it could be your asset balance, it could be your customer balance, it could be your vendor balance, it could be your asset balance, it could be your balance sheet, it could be your profit and loss account. Each and everything can be generated in SAP for any kind of an industry. It is not specific or it is not typical to any one kind of a business or an industry. For whichever industry SAP is applied, it could be your chemical industry, it could be your oil industry, it could be your media industry, it could be your real estate industry, whatever, telecom industry. You can draw any kind of a financial statement, not only your financial statement, but also your costing reports also. Right? You can draw any kind of a report in SAP. I hope I've answered that question, madam.
Yes. Just a moment, sir. Checking another question. Same question. What is the difference between Tally and SAP?
Okay. Probably I would not be competent enough to compare these two products, but both are ERPs, enterprise resource planning tools, because I have not worked on Tally. I have worked only on SAP. But I have heard people saying that Tally is far more simpler to use. That's what I've heard from the other people, but I have not experienced it on hand. And the thing is, let me also tell you that SAP without a little effort is not user friendly. People may say that SAP बहुत आसान है, ये कर सकते हो, वो कर सकते हो, लेकिन इतना आसान तो नहीं है. You will have to spend time on the SAP system. Lots and lots of learning, lots and lots of learning. And if somebody tells me that he knows everything about SAP, I'm sorry to say that I would not be in a position to believe. Because one cannot understand the complete SAP, or even as a matter of fact, only the finance side of SAP or only the management accounting side of SAP itself is very, 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 very huge. And the learning is continuous. If somebody expects that he wants to be an expert in SAP, I'm sorry. Each day, each project is a challenge. Once you move from one project to another project, it's a different challenge. The requirement is different. The business is different. The client is different. The behavior is different. So as a consultant, you need to face a lot of challenges. As I said, I gave you a small example, right? See, in my organization, the purchase cycle goes on with 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, in 6 steps. But that means the same 6 steps may not be applicable to X Limited or to Y Limited or to Z Limited. They may have 10 steps. They may have 7 steps. They may have 5 steps. So it is how I need to understand their business. Even before I talk about SAP to my client, I need to understand how their business is working. What is their requirement? All right. Yes, madam. Do I have any other questions?
Sir, one more question. Just a minute, sir. I had one question. One moment, sir. Let me check.
Sure, madam. Sure.
So one question is, what benefits does SAP give to business, and does it make it easy to use and time improving to business firms than other softwares?
Could you please repeat the question, madam? How
Yes, sir.
SAP?
What benefits does SAP give to business, and does it make easy to use and time improving to business firms than other softwares?
Yes.
It is easy.
See, I will answer the second part of the question. Is it easy to use? As I said, using SAP for the very initial time or for the first couple of times will not be easy. So what we do is, I gave you an example of IBM Index Limited, right? So what we do is, as people knowledgeable about SAP, whenever we are implementing is bringing in SAP into my client's organization. Okay, I cannot simply load SAP and say that it is implemented. No, implementation has a necessary steps to be followed. All right, and each implementing blueprint is different from project to project, because X Limited may be in a different business, Y Limited may be in a different business, Z Limited may be in a different business. So I cannot apply the same solutions to X, Y, Z. So how SAP is used in X is very different from how SAP is used in Y, how SAP is used in Z. First point. Now, I know SAP because I am trained in SAP. But can I also assume that people in X Limited, Y Limited and Z Limited are also trained in SAP? I cannot assume that. So during the course of implementing SAP in X, Y or Z Limited, I as a consultant need to train the people in the client's organization to start using their portion of SAP. So now I use it, their portion. What do I mean by that? So let me assume that I have a set of 3 employees in the accounts payable department. So I need to train those 3 employees or 5 employees only to an extent of their accounts payable operations. Nothing more than that. Because they would not be interested to learn SAP. They have to simply carry out their duties. That's all. So I need to carry out the training specific to the users. So now I use a different term, consultants and users. So users are those set of people who necessarily may or may not be knowledgeable about SAP as a product, but they can very well use SAP to their requirements. So accounts payable, there are 5 employees and I need to train them only their portion of their operations in SAP. So why should I teach them about asset accounting? Why should I teach them about accounts receivables? Why should I teach them about costing? They would not be interested and they will say, I don't have time to learn all this. So in the process of implementing SAP in the client's organization, we also train people in their specific areas. I hope the second part of the question is answered. Right.
Yes.
Now the first part, how SAP is helpful. Now all I can do is I can tell you the breadth of SAP. See, a person sitting at one remote place, my CFO, let me say he is sitting in the US or maybe say way back in Delhi or something. He wants to know the inventory position. So all he can do is just open his SAP system and see it. He does not have to call up the purchase department and say what is the stock. So like this, I just gave you a small example from the reporting side. So let us say you have complex, like say, I'm producing a product. Let us say A. My company is producing a product A. What should be the price of A? Should it be 100 rupees? Should it be 120 rupees? Or should it be 85 rupees? Is SAP going to help me with it? How do you normally collect this data? How should I price my product? So what are the components that goes into the pricing of the product? Lot of components get into it, no? The direct costs, indirect costs, which you would have studied in your CMA. So how are the overheads dealt in SAP? It could be your depreciation also. Depreciation also plays a very major role in your pricing. Your overheads. So how are they treated in SAP? So it also helps the management in various strategic decision making, not only for the pricing. I can also know how my product is performing in one specific area. How should I make the marketing more aggressive in that particular area? Why is the product doing bad in that market, in that particular physical, in that particular geography? All right. So these are all the reports which can be pulled out in SAP, which can help the strategic business decision making. I hope the first part of the question was also answered. Don't worry, even if you have not understood this, when you look at the SAP, when I take you into the SAP screens and show you the various reports, you will definitely appreciate the product. How each one is getting converted, each information what you feed into the SAP system is being understood by SAP and processed. All right. Yes, madam. I hope I have answered both the parts of the question.
Yes. So one question is SAP updated time as per business requirement?
Yes, madam. Could you please repeat?
Is SAP updated time to time as per business requirements?
Absolutely, absolutely. That is why you can see SAP in the market. See, for example, the VAT system of taxation changed to GST today. So if SAP retained the same VAT system Do you think the product would have been successful? I'm just giving you a small example. So there is a constant research happening on the various business changes, not only as far as India is concerned. Each of the business changes are made taking the requirements of the business globally. Standardization. Clear? So in here it could be GST. Somewhere in the US it could be something else, some method of taxation. So SAP has to also meet that requirement. It has to meet our requirement also. So like this, since SAP is a global product, it is not restricted to one geography. This is the SAP product doesn't belong to India, doesn't belong to the US, doesn't belong to Germany alone. It is spread across the globe. So each of you can see the depth of the research, because it is not only for one industry that it should take care of this taxation. It should take care of various industries. How GST is being treated across various industries. Right? I hope I have answered that question, madam. So there is a constant R&D happening constantly, each and every day. Research is happening just to study the market requirements of a specific business. And that is exactly the success factor for your SAP. Why you're not talking about any other ERP product? You're only talking about SAP. Why? Because of the future potential to grow. Why has it got the potential to grow? Because it has the capacity to address the business requirements as and when the changes happen, as dynamic. So today's business is very dynamic. Tomorrow's requirements may not be the same as today. So if I have to use SAP, my expectation would be that SAP will also keep up with the times. And which SAP is doing. I just gave you an example of a typical Indian requirement. All right. Yes, madam.
Yes. The one question is, can SAP be used for any country's accounting guidelines?
Absolutely. Yes. It can. It can be used. So that is why you can see SAP is used across the globe. Because when I worked on projects typical to the APAC region, more so to China and Japan, there was a typical unique kind of a requirement as far as, I think it must be Japan. It had a unique requirement as far as asset reporting is concerned. It was a very unique requirement. It is not so in India. So SAP had to cater to that requirement also. All right. So it is keeping up to the requirements. All right. And it is up to the consultant to advise how you are going to incorporate that. All right. So suppose you have a unique thing in reporting your assets. Let me talk about Japan, or maybe even say China. So how will SAP know unless and until the consultant tells that it is a unique requirement and accordingly tailors the requirement to the business? It can be tailor-made. Suppose you take a piece of cloth What can you do with that cloth? You can stitch a shirt, you can stitch a trouser, you can stitch whatever, correct? So SAP is that cloth. How you want to use it, what do you want to stitch with it, is up to the business requirement. What X Limited wants, what Y Limited wants, what Z Limited wants. It is up to the consultant to understand. I hope I'm making things very, very clear. Yes, madam. I hope I have answered
Yes.
that question, madam.
Yes, sir. There is one more question. Is there any limitations in case of using SAP?
What kind of limitations I need to understand? No limitations, but if you can specify what are the limitations, probably then I can zero in on that particular requirement. But as far as the limitations, probably you may have to help me with one typical example or maybe say one incident. I mean, what business you are looking at? If you can tell me that, probably I can tell you. I can answer this question. But if you're talking about limitations, whether SAP can be applied to only one kind of a business, the answer is no. It can be applied to any kind of a business. And earlier, when I started SAP, I started my SAP career. Implementation of SAP was a costly affair. It involved a lot of money. It was a costly product, no doubt about it. And only the cash-rich companies, rich companies could afford that. But now it is not so. SAP has tailor-made, or say it has come out with smaller, let me not put it that way. It has become so very, okay. I really would not say affordable. Now the knowledge of SAP is so much that even knowledge of SAP, in the sense people are more knowledgeable about SAP, not as a product or not how to use the product, but they would have heard about SAPs from somewhere or the other. Their own company may be using it. How the company is using SAP, they may not be interested. But they know that there is something called as SAP. Or people may also call it as SAP. Fine. Okay. So now the awareness of SAP is so much that even the small business enterprises or even the medium scale business enterprises are in a position to make the complete use of that product. Though the requirement could be very, very simple, not as complex as your public sectors or big companies like say Tata's or Reliance or whatever, but they can definitely use a SAP product only to their requirements. All right. So later I'll give you more clarity as to what I mean to say by using only their requirement. Okay, I'll come down to that when I discuss about something called as the modules in SAP. I would be talking in greater detail on their own specific requirements. When you're talking about the small and the medium scale, they would not be using the probably not much of the SAP's capabilities are being used. Suppose I'm in a service industry. So do I expect that SAP can be used only by manufacturing industries? No, it can be used by service industries also. Fair enough. So like that, I will be deciding as to what is my business and accordingly use only that portion of SAP which is more relevant, and accordingly also pay the license. License, I will tell you more about it when I get into the SAP. Okay. There is something called as a licensing. So based on the number of users who are going to use SAP, like say, I gave you a small example of a AP department in X Limited consisting of five employees. So for the accounts payable department in X Limited, I would want to have 5 licenses for accounts payable, 3 licenses for accounts receivable department, 2 licenses in the sense 2 people are going to use in the particular department. So like that, based on the number of users using the SAP system, the licensing is done. That is how the cost of the product is also worked out. I will talk to you in greater detail about the licensing, okay? But it is based on the users. And also make note why there are 5 people in the AP department, correct? So why can't all the 5 people work on the SAP system with one ID? Is that possible? No, actually it's a violation. So the first thing what you need to learn in SAP is, of course, you will be taught, or you'll be learning in greater depth about this when I open the live SAP system. In the practical scenario, when you're working for X Limited or Y Limited, whenever you're working officially in any organization, but you should be working officially on the SAP system, because the SAP system will be given to the organizations by the SAP company itself. There'll be no other company which can provide you with the SAP software. You will have to procure the software straight away from Germany itself. I am talking about from the organizations. Organizations in the sense X Limited, Y Limited, Z Limited. So if at all they want to implement SAP in their organizations, they will have to apply for the license for the product. Depending upon how many people are going to use the product, they will be, the costing is done for the product. All right. So once when you start working in an organization on an SAP system, you would be given your own user IDs. Let us say I am Nagraj. I would be identified with a unique user ID. There'll be somebody else, like say Mr. Rakesh or whoever it is, my colleagues. They would be identified with their unique user IDs. I just gave you my name Nagraj. Okay. It may not be the user, it may not be the names. It could be some IDs. Like say you have your passwords for your confidential files, right? So like that, you would be given your unique identification IDs and passwords. Only and only then you are authorized to use that SAP system. And this information, you will be getting it through the system administrator. I'm just giving you a flow of how things work out in SAP. Okay. So basically you would be given your unique user IDs and passwords, which you are not supposed to share even with your friends or colleagues. Just make a note of this point, okay? And I will tell you why you're not supposed to share. This may take some time. This answer to this question may take some time, but definitely please make a note of this point. None of your IDs and your passwords should be shared with your colleagues or with your closest of your friends. Here there is no friendship, it is only professional, okay? And you are supposed to go by the discipline. But to summarize, SAP is a global product now being used very extensively across the globe. You can see many companies across the globe going to SAP, or they are making use of SAP. It could be for different things. Obviously for your routine transactions and ultimately your decision making, your report extraction, your submission of the financial statements. See, earlier what you used to do, somebody asked me a question, how will it facilitate? How will SAP facilitate? Now, for example, you used to do your bank reconciliation, right? I'm just giving you a very small example as to how SAP would facilitate the organization. So you have those checks coming in, checks. So you all know that what are the items to be added, what are the items to be subtracted in your BRS to arrive at the passbook balance or your bank balance, whatever, or your cash book balance. You can see this reconciliation happening automatically in SAP. Is that enough for facilitating your reconciling activities? So this is one typical example where you would see that it would happen. Automatic reconciliation. You don't have to sit with your passbook and your transactions, list of transactions, and do a plus or a minus. Nothing to do. It picks up all the pluses and the minuses from your transactions. Your bank statement is uploaded into the SAP system. This is a different process. Please don't bother about it. But I'm talking to you about, there was one question asked, how will SAP simplify my business? Correct? So do you agree with me? I'm just giving you a small example of BRS. There is also the automatic reconciliation happening between your finance and costing. Cost centers, profit centers. All right, all the reconciliations happen. And how things are settled in SAP. Settlement. Of course, this is a typical term for your management accounting. Let me not. I just remembered that thing question as to how SAP would facilitate my business. How will it simplify my business? This is one solid example which you would definitely get it. And suppose you want to know the creditors or your debtors position. How would you get that? So there is a report in SAP which anybody can access. Anybody can access. I will simplify or I will correct that statement. People having authorizations to certain transactions. So earlier, when I was talking to you about a few employees in the accounts payable department getting trained only to their scope of work. This is exactly what I call authorizations to specific transactions. Like if I am in the accounts payable department, I would not have the access to enter into the accounts receivable transactions. That depends on my position in my organization. I could be a first division officer, second division officer. Probably the departmental head would be having the access, would be having the authorization to see the other reports also. So the sensitivity of the reports are also taken care of. So whenever there is a very strategic or say a senior management report is there or is required, what would the officer do with that information? It's highly confidential also, and the data should also be protected because there could be a leakage of the data. Inadvertently, I may be passing on this information to my competitors, my organization competitors, without my knowledge. I don't know. Out of innocence, I may be passing on the information. So these things are taken care of by protecting the SAP system only to the requirement of the specific individual. Clear? So this is how the data is also protected. I cannot see the data of the other departments. Or even if I'm given the authorization, I can only view the data, but I cannot change the data. Clear? So this is how SAP takes care of all these requirements, which we will slowly understand one after the other and make things very interesting. Clear? So this is how we are going to go about learning SAP. Okay, the next session also would be more of trying to understand SAP as a product and answering your questions. All right, if you have any questions, please post them in your Q&A section. So we will take it up. If any unanswered questions are there, we will definitely take it up. And also, we are also going to talk about the way things will move forward in our training. Okay, and various other modalities of SAP, I mean, how the training should go on, what are the things that I need to share. Okay, clear? So on Monday also, probably in the next session, when we are meeting at 2 p.m. Here again, it will be more of, it is just we are spending time to understand the requirements or to understand SAP in a much better way, so that it simplifies a lot of things and it also clarifies your understanding of SAP. Because see, you people would have heard about SAP from different sources. Oh, SAP is that, SAP is this, I heard this, I heard that. So whatever it is, we are going to bring it down to the what exactly is SAP, and we are going to stick to our course content, okay, which I'm going to share probably from Monday onwards. Okay, today's session was just an introductory session, just to give you a feel of what your understanding about SAP is and what exactly SAP is all about. Of course, we are still not going to see the system. Okay, seeing the system may take quite some time. Okay, but as and when you get the comfort level, I'll be taking you through some slides, and as I said, this is apart from the course content what you would be given or you would have already been given. This course content, or which I have prepared, this PPT which I am going to show you is prepared by me just to simplify a lot of things. Okay, it is quite exhaustive. You will see most of the things being repeated even in your course content. So I do not have to share my PPT slides. So that in itself would take good care of your requirement. But I'll be comparing. Okay, if at all there is something which has got missed out, definitely it will be covered. All right. And probably in the first few moments, or say a few sessions, let us try to understand how comfortable we are with the SAP terminologies. Because I don't know how many of you would have received the course content and how many of you would have gone through that course content. I really don't know. But if at all some of you have gone through the course content and you want me to answer those questions, I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Okay. And I will also look at the timing of the question. What I mean is, if at all it's a very premature question, I would excuse myself. I would not be answering at that very moment, but I would definitely take up that question at the appropriate time, and I would be connecting this question to the specific topic at that time and answer that particular question. All right. Yes, madam. I think we can meet by 2 p.m.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So, students, we'll wind up for now today's session. That is for first half of the session. Now, the first half of the session was from 11 to 1 p.m. So we'll take a short break now, and we'll meet again for the next half of the session at 2 p.m. So thank you so much, sir. We'll meet again at 2 p.m.
Yes, madam. So, madam, shall I click on the leave now?
Just I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Just
yeah. Yeah.
So students, that's all for now. And just be back quickly, take a short break and be back quickly by 2 p.m. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.